chat for the day. So if you are around, do come to our pavilion to hear this very, very interesting conversation focusing on a sector that's at the center of India's digital credit revolution, digital lending 2.0. With over 9,500 registered NBFCs in India and the growing demand for instant paperless credit, the question today is, how can we make lending workflows faster, more secure, and fully compliant? This session explores exactly that. How seamless onboarding, automated reporting, and embedded compliance are redefining NBFC operations. Joining us is Mr. Vijay Haswani, CEO of Navdhan Capital, a company leading the way in building tech-first lending solutions. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us. In conversation with him is Mr. Rakesh Doshi, Chief Business Officer at Protean Technologies. Let's dive in and explore what digital lending 2.0 really looks like. Over to you, Rakesh.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. Makes sense.
So allow me to introduce our speakers once again. Mr. Vijay Haswani is CEO of Navdhan Capital, a company leading the way in building tech-first lending solutions. In conversation with him is Mr. Rakesh Doshi, Chief Business Officer at Protean eGov. Over to you both to tell us what digital lending 2.0 really looks like.
Thank you, Jovan. A very, very warm welcome again. Thank you so much for coming over. Last week we were together, and I was really happy to catch up with Vijay and the way he's building the NBFC lending part, especially for some pockets where I belong from, and he also, probably in the same region. So a very interesting conversation that we had, and it's my pleasure to take that conversation further forward. As I move forward, let me first ask you how this digital lending 2.0 landscape looks like and how the technology plays is evolving in that space.
Sure. Thanks, Rakesh, for calling me here and giving me an opportunity to present our views here. Coming on to your question, how digital lending 2.0 is reshaping the entire industry on the lending side. Right from the word of discovery of the customer till the fulfillment, which is the collections at the last, everything is being redefined with digital lending. If you talk of onboarding, there are a lot of solutions which help you crunch the time, reduce the errors, be more effective on the onboarding side. Then coming on to the underwriting, again there are a lot of models, a lot of vendors available there which help you in underwriting a customer. You talk of ITR, you talk of GST analysis, you talk of ITR analysis, bank statement analysis, account aggregator ecosystem, a lot of business models who are evaluating the end customers, a lot of rule engines, a lot of data providers there, especially the account aggregator system. With the help of all these, the underwriting has gone a tremendous change, both in terms of the accuracy as well as the time required to underwrite the customer. And then there are several aspects, and these are just small examples, but if you talk of any facet of lending today, the digital touch is redefining the entire way we do business today. Whether you talk of the risk culture, you talk of collections, everything is changing. And we are an institution which deals with enterprises in the rural India, where the digital footprint is very limited. There also we are seeing a lot of technology helping us, especially on the compliance side, regulatory reporting side, MIS side, and onboarding, to with the help of the India stack, with the help of UPI, all these technologies, the Aadhaar, JAM, which is Jandan, Aadhaar and mobile, Trinity, all these is redefining the rural lending space also.
Super, Vijay, thank you so much. I think your answer places us as probably one of the best service providers and tech stack providers for NBFC, including the RegTech that we do.
Sure, yes.
And absolutely, it was all music to my ears. In fact, whatever that you said is all a tick that we could provide. While we do that, and I remember talking to you in terms of the key bottlenecks from the NBFC industry perspective, and you know the way you explained that day was wonderful. I'm sure the audience here will be benefited to hear those views again back from you.
No, sure. So the bottlenecks for the NBFCs today is more on the side of, you see, the onboarding in rural areas. Sometimes today when you do eKYC or video KYC, that is more prevalent in urban areas, more easier in urban areas where people understand that. But in rural areas, the trust issue is a very important factor. So until unless the trust factor is not established, giving them digital solutions is a two-way sword for the lender. So there the agentic work or the agent on ground is the key factor. Now the challenge for a rural lender like us for onboarding, I think that is getting sorted by your KYC solutions, onboarding solutions through eKYC. But eKYC, what happens is, in the rural side, the linkage of mobile number with Aadhaar, the percentage is lower than the urban. You see a lot of these guys will have prepaid mobile numbers which keeps frequently changing, though they don't get updated in the Aadhaar database, and therefore getting through OTP validation through ODP is a little difficult. Therefore the new technologies which are coming up, which is not reliant only on OTP but on biometrics, face authentication, that is helping onboarding really faster and in a safe and secure manner without errors. So the challenge of onboarding is getting solved with these newer technologies of face authentication or biometrics. The other challenges probably are on the reporting side, where the CKYC part, if you talk about, there you have to download the documents, compare it. If you do it manually, it is a very time consuming, very tedious process, and it is a regulatory requirement. You have to be compliant. You have no escape way there. But it is very tedious and resource consuming activity. Their digital providers are helping us, the technology solution providers like Protean is helping us to do this reporting very easily in a cost and time efficient manner. So some of these challenges are on the reporting, MIS, onboarding, risk assessment side. Again, there are challenges, but that is solved mostly for the urban side, the salaried segment. Now the real challenges which still have to be where people are making an attempt to solve is on the rural secured lending, be it title verification, be it your valuation. Some of these which are more physical today have to get into digital. So some of these challenges are yet to be addressed, and there are players, I'm happy to say that there are players who are addressing these challenges also, and I'm sure they'll go a long way and we'll see a good future, good solutions coming out of these players in the future.
In fact, I did take some cues today. I was the speaker in the morning with MSP had invited. So from a household perspective and the use cases that you talked about and the real challenges that you face. So maybe some large detailed rigorous surveys coupled with the KYC stacks and the other reporting solutions that we provide could probably help build those solutions. So more from an industry perspective and federation back into the government initiatives. I think that's the other role I believe that we could play for the industry and bring those kind of solutions that help you in a better underwriting, lesser risks, the demographics like you that day the way you were mentioning that at a metadata level demographics could help, and therefore those survey results could be another way to look at that. I mean, just to add to the discussion that
Sure. So one of the reasons why we started building tech in-house, some of the components, was because there was no ready solution for the type of lending that we are doing currently. It is a household approach. So if you see today, you get bureau of an individual. But when we look at a household approach, as RBI has also mentioned that while doing lending to microfinance segment, you have to look at the household. But there is no ready-made solution today for assessing a household as a unit. You get individuals, you assess individuals, but consolidating all the individuals in one place and giving a consolidated view of the entire household in terms of their borrowing profile, their repayment history in bureau records, secondary, their income sources, their obligations, their way of living, common pool of assets which is available at their disposal. Looking all that together as a unit, we do not have ready-made solutions today. And I hope if you guys can help us build that, would be great.
Absolutely, we are game for it. And in fact, some of the federated APIs that we work on, so taxation could be one element. We are the GSP, GSP, that could help. You already talked about the Aadhaar framework. You also talked about the account aggregator framework. So all of these spaces that we play in, other than the online PAN validation part of it. So I'm sure we'll work together and create an offering which would solve the problem for the industry, along with the survey related aspects that I talked about. So that could be one flavor that would come in. Coming, of course, it's a lot of regulation that plays in terms of the mandates that you have on the checks. What do you look from that perspective? The regulated mandatory checks could be from a KYC environment, and the role that we as a partner could play for you there.
No, on the regulatory requirement in terms of KYC, it is the CKYC solutions which is of prime. That process today is little cumbersome, and if you rely more on the manual work there, it is not scalable, it is error prone, it leads to a lot of delays. So if you are able to automate that, which you've done successfully, that helps us address that issue. But otherwise, on other regulatory requirements, it is on the lending side, you have CKYC reporting, you have bureau reporting, you have reporting to the regulators on regular side. For example, a base layer NBFC has different regulatory reporting requirement, and RBI has also come up with various portals, Daksh portal, Pravaha portal, for various regulated entities to submit their regular submissions online. So on the regulatory reporting, I think for lenders today, from your perspective, CKYC solutions would help us, and reporting to the bureau Sarsai, that would help us.
And also from the MSME perspective, so given the landscape that you have, and again, that same digital divide to many of those smaller MSME exists.
Yeah.
Given that we work with a lot of ministries, we work in terms of going back, taking industry views back into the policymakers. Where do you believe our play on the MSME part of helping NBFCs to create a product or a package which could be differentiated and can help overcome that divide that we've been talking about for them as well?
So MSME, see again, urban-rural divide. Urban, again, the MSMEs which are under the ambit of GST, you get a lot of data on the GST portal, and there are account aggregators which help you get the data and underwrite that customer better. But the customers who are not in GST network, there are alternative methods like UPI transactions, again through account aggregator or through these platforms. If you get the details of the UPI transactions which are happening at a retail store, you can probably underwrite that customer better. But other than that, there are challenges on the rural side because mostly it is cash driven economy. For example, again it depends state wise. If you go to Gujarat, you see all the milk farmers pouring milk to a formal channel which ultimately goes to a dairy. But if you see the same value chain in MP, the milk does not go directly to the big dairies. it goes to aggregators, it goes to restaurants, it goes to various other places, and therefore the availability of data is richer in Gujarat and poorer in MP. Now there, if we find a method of capturing this data right at the customer's place by some method, that will help all of the lenders in that segment to underwrite those customers better. Now it is easier in Gujarat, it is difficult in Madhya Pradesh. It may be much more easier in other states. So it is the government, local government, that they have to create an ecosystem and they have to help capture the data at the front end. Other than that, MSMEs, if you talk of other informal SMEs like a small repair shop, a two-wheeler repair shop, or a garage, or a mechanic, or an electrical repair shop. Again, these guys are not under the GST ambit, so there will be no reportings. You will not find any income data on these portals for these guys. How do we get to know the real income is the challenge. Now, until unless everything is digital, you cannot do 100. Now, 100% digital is also not not possible on the day one. So yeah, it's a journey. It will take its own time. The government is putting in efforts. It will take time. Till then, we'll have to find alternate ways of underwriting this segment in the rural side. Urban side, I think it is easier, and a lot of people have already touched that aspect. They have kind of delivered some solutions there.
Fantastic, Vijay. Let me turn a little bit, because you are one business owner who has a very strong tech bent of mind as well. That's what I realized when I was talking to you. So let me ask you a question which is a little different from a process flow, from solving the problems from a business mindset. Let me ask you a question. How do you look at sovereign cloud and sovereign AI environments built to solve problems and have the control indigenously available with people like you?
No, absolutely. That's a great initiative, I think. Government of India has been talking about this point of data localization and Indian data residing in Indian servers for a lot of reasons, obviously security and richness of the data. So if we have native cloud, we have native cloud service providers, which is competition to GCP or AWS or Azure kind of people. So it will have a lot of trust in the local ecosystem that the native data is here, it is in our control, it is not being misused by any other party without our knowledge. Two is, it will develop an ecosystem around the cloud infrastructure. It will promote a lot of other ancillary units. So in all, it is a positive step towards that, and we are really looking forward to a native cloud service providers. Would be great to use one of them.
Vijay, thank you. That's encouraging to hear. In this entire play, how is the customer experience important in the entire journey, and how does a technology player like us work for you to solve some of the problems there?
So again, in my segment, which is rural, technology plays an important part. One, in onboarding the customer, the faster onboarding of the customer with less of errors, less of manual intervention. Otherwise, if you look at what kind of digital interventions can help us in our segment in rural area, from your perspective, is I think we need a lot of help on again, as I said, underwriting is something where we need a lot of help on. And what digital solutions have already helped us is on the collections. I see a lot of trust getting built up in the digital infrastructure at the rural level also. The awareness is increasing with the UPI availability. there we are seeing the people, the younger generation in the household. Now we do a household level approach. The older guys, probably 40, 50 years of age, they are less exposed to these digital interventions. But the younger guys, they are much more tech savvy, they understand. And therefore, there we are seeing the acceptance and payment. They are readily using these digital modes of payments for loans. And other digital interventions on the rural side, again, if I have to chalk out what would help us is, maybe we'll have to on the again on the household level, as I was saying, there are no ready-made solutions available. That is where we are facing challenge. There you can help us. Rest all, I think technologies like CKYC is helping us report quite without any errors. It is reducing the timelines, it is reducing the errors. It is not dependent on people, it is highly scalable. So that is helping us on the regulatory side.
So let me, probably put a framework and see if that makes sense. So if you have, today daily density is high. Even if you look at rural, most of your customers would have a mobile phone or a telephone. From your collection point of view, if you were to make a model which will run on a let's say our sovereign AI environment, okay, and that has an LLM built on it, which can converse in a multi-language, multilingual environments, and give a basis delinquency, can actually reach out to them from a collection process, so that when your person is going ahead for collections, there's an equal amount of follow-up already happened, so that visit can be reduced. Would that solve some problem?
The agentic robotic calling would definitely help in certain segment of the customers. So we'll have to divide the segment, the customer use these solutions in 2 or 3 different buckets. In bucket 1, probably this automatic calling dialers in multilingual would help in recoveries. But in other buckets, maybe the calling has to be followed up by a physical visit on the ground. So you have to have a mixed approach, mixed bag approach. In some buckets, only telecalling or soft reminders, soft tones would help the customers reminding or giving an advance notifications, then please pay on time. So it helps in collection. Because many a times these guys have logistical issues. These are not intentional issues. If you see bureau, probably their bureau records are clean, but bank statements would be bad. So there are logistical issues. These are not intentional issues. So sometimes, yes, these automated callings in multilingual support would help. But in some buckets, it needs to be followed up by physical visit as well. So yeah, agentic calling is a way forward on the collections side. It is definitely helping, reducing the cost. So if you do cost benefit analysis of a person going and collecting on the field versus agent calling from a report and giving him all the options to make payment online, whether it is through BBPS or through UPI, that is definitely helping on the collections, especially in our segment, rural side.
Fantastic, Vijay. It's been a privilege to have you here. And the discussion was phenomenally, I enjoyed it. I hope the audience also enjoyed. We nearly covered all aspects, right from onboarding of a customer to underwriting, to risk assessments, to compliance, to customer service, to tech stacks of what Protean can play a very important and interesting role in the enablement and empowerment of what you are looking forward to and contribute to your purpose. Thank you so much, Vijay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Rakesh, calling me for here and giving us the opportunity. Thank you.
Rakesh, may I please request you to give a token of gratitude from our side to Mr. Haswani. Thank you, sir, for the insightful conversation.